The victory stele of Naram Sin is another one of these historical records, very similar to the stele of the vultures that we looked at earlier, and it's a stele, a stone relief commemorating an event. In this case, looking at this king having conquered, the king being Naram Sin, having conquered the Lulubi people. It's a really odd name, the Lulubi, but at the same time, this is a major historical event, and this is the first time that we're seeing a king depicted as a god, in this case with the horned helmet, giving animal-like characteristics that are generally associated with gods of some form. Now, there's a benefit to this. If you are a king and you don't want your enemies trying to kill you, which is what kings are usually trying to avoid, you want to be seen as a god. And one of the ways to do that is to take on those characteristics. This is not necessarily the first time, but this is the first time we're seeing it in art. It's possible that it predates. So, very, very important. The 3 stars at the top have sometimes been pointed out in Ancient Aliens and elsewhere as 3 suns and all this sort of thing, but it's not. Really, the 3 stars are favorably shining on his victory, the idea of a victory being preordained by the gods, that the gods stated that he would, in fact, defeat these people. And we have a very dynamic posture in all of it. For example, this character who seems to have a spear thrust through his throat. And you'll notice that the Lulubi people appear to be nude or mostly nude, again in a composite view, so the chest facing us, the legs and head in profile, trying to create relatability. So we know that these are people and not some other form of life. The piece overall is quite brutal. So, for example, we see not only the Lulubi dying, but being thrown off the mountainside, and the King Naram Sin's army standing behind him, supporting him in his efforts. We see the king doing something himself. And again, it's commemorating this great event, this great conquest. And we would see these for a number of different conquests or a number of different events if you lived there at the time. These would be throughout marketplaces, the centers of cities, etc., reminding us of the power of our rulers. Now, that power doesn't last forever. By 2150 BCE, the Akkadians will lose power, and we will see other groups coming into power. Eventually, the region bands together, and we get the establishment of the Neo-Sumerian kingdom, which we will look at next.